on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. Up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very
special day it is. It is a wonderful Wednesday. That means my partner from Walmart is Bradley Gilbert over there. Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, Becky.
By phone, we do have our own from West Washington. It's Education Wednesday. We have our own superintendent, Keith Nance. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, Becky.
Happy Wednesday. All right, Brad, let's thank our sponsors this morning.
All right, we have got Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Roses, Fox for Lee Wealth Management, Dr. Blackside Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Marshall Monuments, Springer & Springer Insurance, Schneck Hospital, and Temple & Temple. Thank you, sponsors.
All right, we're on to the 13th day of May, May Day. Today is Cough Drop Day. Keith,
Yay.
you do you use cough drops?
No, not typically. I really have to have a sore throat or something to go for that.
What about you, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm big cough drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody got a cough drop?
Yeah, especially in the spring.
Yeah.
You know, I don't use them as much for colds as I do for like when the seasons are changing, allergies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just me.
All right, this is donate a day's wages to Charity Day.
That's
if
good.
you could do that, I don't know, everything's so tight, but I think that's wonderful.
Things are a little tough right now for that, but
Yes.
if
Yes.
Very
you have the ability, definitely.
Yep. Frog Jumping Day.
There you go.
Right? I feel like we're all jumping around. Spring is like crazy.
Yeah.
This is also Hummus Day. I love hummus. Do you guys like hummus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
International Receptionist Day, and receptionists are like they deserve more than just one day. They're the ones that get it all.
They do the heavy lifting.
Leprechaun Day. This is a little off.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right, guys, this is the one we've been waiting for. National Apple Pie Day.
Oh.
Yeah. Please.
Yes,
Take
please.
it down with that.
Yes,
I know,
please.
Me too.
Yes, please.
Keith, if you were here, we'd have to have pie.
Yeah.
There's apple pie and vanilla ice cream on the 4th of July for me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Nothing says America or you are loved better than that.
What was the commercial? Apple pie and what was the and wait, hang on, apple pie and USA. I'm trying to remember how did it go? And
That
Chevrolet.
Yeah, that was a car commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to go back. Okay. National Fruit Cocktail Day.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. National Third Shift Workers Day. Half off to those third shift workers.
Hats off to
Third
them.
shift
I'll
workers.
tell you, we've got some great. That's good. We got some great overnight associates.
Yeah.
They basically rebuild the store every single
do.
night. So at 6 a.m. we're ready to rock and roll again. So hats off to them. They're a great team. Kenny and his team are just a wonderful. We're lucky to have a great group of associates like that.
And it's funny if you see them, like if you're early morning, you see them leaving. They've just got smiles. I mean, like it's just like they've just done the magic. And
Yes.
and then
Yep.
To bed they go.
And the funny thing about it is, not everybody's built for third shift. So,
That is
and they
true.
do it with a smile on their face and ready to go. So.
Yeah. All right, Top Gun Day. Okay.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
That's all right.
You would do a flyby in the store all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, I have my departments, and if you watch me, I'm very what is it called? Strategery. Remember?
Strategery.
I'm very.
We're on with the superintendent. We gotta say our words right.
Sorry,
But strategery is funny.
We've had maybe a little sleep and a little too
For a
much energy.
former president, then it's good enough for us.
Yes.
I know.
That's true.
And
That's
that's
true.
okay. That's okay. He had a lot to say.
Yeah.
All right. we got the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tulips. I love
Oh.
Tulip Day. I love
Beautiful.
tulips. I think it's a little out or past tulip.
Past tulip time, but okay.
I did see
I
someone
know that in Michigan, where they have huge tulip fields, this is now tulip season and
Oh.
big time travel for that.
Ooh, I
Well,
did
thank
know
you
that.
for
Like the area of Holland, Michigan.
Yes, I knew that. I've not been there during that time, but I think I did. I
See,
knew that.
he's
Yeah.
teaching us something today. I did not know that. That's cool to know.
World Cocktail Day. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, it's not the weekend yet, guys.
Not
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
World FM Day. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
Yay, FM radio. All right, wonderful. All right, let's jump in. Keith, what's the countdown? How much longer do we have?
well, our last school day is May the 20th. That's 7 days from today. That's kind of crazy to think. I feel like we were just starting the school year. But we got a ton of things going on. It always is this way at the end of the school years. We celebrate the closing of the year and the kids turning a page, creating some big accomplishments and moving on. So we have kindergarten graduation on Friday. We have sixth grade graduation on Monday. And so those are big events, well attended by our families. And then I think we also have on Friday our junior high awards day, which has grown. It used to be for a while, we were handing out awards to the kids and there weren't as many parents there, but we've tried to make an effort to send out invitations, particularly to those that we know have been awarded something from a teacher, because each teacher gives top student awards and, helpful awards or just great behavior awards. And then this weekend, we got a lot going on. We got our spring carnival on Saturday, which is now on its, it would have been, it's going on its 17th year, I think. So that's exciting. And our baseball and softball teams are just killing it. Both of them are undefeated in the conference. Both of them are ranked in our division. So it's exciting times.
Very much so. It sounds like busy times too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and our baccalaureate is Sunday this weekend. That's always fun. It's just kind of a different environment than the graduation, but you got speeches from kids and some musical performances. Mount Tabor is gracious enough to let us host it there at their church. So those are all things you need to check out. All the dates and times are available on our website. They just post it on social media as well. Or you just call into the office and, see if you got a question. We'll gladly answer it. We've wanted as many people to attend as possible.
Right, absolutely. So, Keith, on this coming weekend, what time does all the festivities start?
Yeah. So on Saturday, the spring carnival starts at 11 a.m. It runs for a handful of hours. There's no dead stop time.
Okay.
But typically we run that thing for about 3 hours. And then we'll actually be having some of the Campbellsburg Little League games here at our school. They already had some events planned. We want them to be able to participate easily. So rather than families being pulled to two sites, we just said, bring them on over here. Let's play ball over here. And that way, in between games and things, they can enjoy the carnival. We also host our last baseball conference game on Saturday. I believe right now, with the way the standings are, we've won the conference championship outright because everyone else has 2 losses and we have 0. But we still play one more conference game on Saturday against Perry Central, and it would be nice to win it outright and have an unblemished conference record at 7-0. So that's on the line on Saturday for that game. That game starts at noon. And that's going to be exciting for the kids. I know that Mr. Ingram was telling me that we had won conference championships in the past. This would be the first outright one that he knows of, at least in a long, long time.
That's awesome. Well, that's fantastic. And as far as the spring, with the weather and everything, it looks like, our weather, even though we've had, quite a bit of rain, but I think has most of the events, the spring events, been able to go on?
It has been a very odd spring in that we've had very few cancellations, if any, on our varsity schedule that were weather-related for baseball or softball. And typically, you're this time of year turnaround playing games every other day or every day because you've had so many games to make up. We've had rain, but it's come in buckets and loads, and rather than, getting an every third day rain like we sometimes get in the springtime.
Right, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. I think you can definitely tell. We had a couple times where the grass was getting a little distressed, and you could tell, hey, I think we need a little rain. And then we have 4 inches of rain in one night.
Yeah.
Not the best way to get your rain, but it definitely helps. It's kept us on schedule, and that's a nice thing.
Yeah. So you've already had Senior Prank Day, so tell us, for those that didn't see it on Facebook and stuff like that, talk about that, because that's always a fun time out at West Washington.
Yeah. Sorry I'm out here in the parking lot if you hear vehicles driving by. Always, when I can, sit out here at the front of the building. It's a part of our morning procedures that we have admin stationed all throughout the campus, so you hear people coming in and out of the main entrance here at school. The seniors did a great job. Number one, this is a very fun group of seniors. There's a lot of personality there. Certainly accomplishments spread throughout as well. But just like every kid kind of has its own unique personality, every class seems to have its own personality as well. And this group is just kind of a fun-loving, I don't know, they don't get too uptight about things. They're not tightly wound. Sometimes that means they drag their feet a little bit on some things academically, and you have to kind of push them. But they definitely have the ability there, and there is ambition amongst the group. And I think they're all going to do really, really well in life. Number one, they can roll with the punches. They're very good at just kind of rolling with what's been laid out in front of them.
That's good, being able to pivot and dodge and weave, right? Especially when you're...
Yeah, if you're a flexible person and you can pivot, there's a whole world of leadership jobs out there that you could have opportunities with. I'm sure, Brad, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll take that in a heartbeat. I'm
going to tell you my job, too. I feel the same way.
Yeah, let's run your own business, and it happens to be a media business, and it's radio, FM, AM radio.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back over, because this is probably going to be the last time, and before, not our last time ever, but I'm saying, like, we'll be hitting summer, and then of course a lot of times then we don't do education, Wednesday on summer, because we kind of take a break there. But Keith, let's kind of go back over the year, because there's been a lot of great things that have happened this year. West Washington's done some outstanding. I think last time we spoke was before the play, and that play was like fantastic. It
sure was
so much fun, and we still talk about it to this day. Your FFA has done fantastic. Your BPA has done wonderful. Your everything, basketball, football, baseball now.
Yeah, I think if you go athletically, there's been a lot of highlights. The biggest highlight, I think, is probably a year sooner than most people expected it. Our basketball team really performed well, made it to the regional, getting out of the tough sectional, and then playing the eventual state championship Bar Eve Braves in the regional, pretty much on their home court, and pushed them all the way to the wire. I think that we played them in the closest game that they had the entire tournament. The state finals, they won by almost 20 points. And in our game, they had to score 2 free throws at the end to beat us by, I think it was 3 or 5. But it was single digits. And we definitely made them sweat every bit of it. And I think they came in there thinking it was going to be an easy step through from the regional to the semi-state. So very proud of those kids, but proud of all the kids that get out there and compete, because it's a commitment. It's big-time commitment, time-wise and physically, and all of our kids are willing to put themselves out there. Another amazing adult trait that not everyone in 2026 has, which is, hey, I'm willing to go out and challenge myself and do it in front of people, knowing that failure is an option, and sometimes not seeing failure as failure, seeing them as opportunities. So certainly proud of our kids that compete academically and athletically. It's been a great year for them.
Absolutely. And, it's been a busy year, and also, but don't you feel this year has gone pretty fast?
For me personally, it's felt like it's gone very fast. And I don't know how or why that happens. This is my 11th year as a superintendent. It blows my mind that I've been doing it for 11 years. The first year I did it, I asked myself on the first day I accepted the job, what am I doing? And sometimes every now and then I still ask myself, what am I doing? It's a rewarding job because you know how much a community public school has on the community as a whole. So I'm proud to be the superintendent of West Washington. I'm proud of the things we accomplished this year. I'm proud of who we've always been, but I'm also proud of who we've become.
Well, I think that's an important thing, to your point about what the school does, what schools in general do, but what, you're talking about what West Washington does that contributes to the not only our community, but you send kids out to conquer the world, and that's a great thing. And tied into that, I thought of something that when we were talking about, leadership and leadership skills and being able to pivot. You guys have signs that say we grow champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as you're growing champions, you're growing leaders. And it's not just in athletics, you're growing champions in BPA and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important to think about. It's like just how great is that as the superintendent to be the captain of the ship, and just take a moment to think about what all the staff and teachers and everybody at West Washington, the group of leaders that you guys are sending out into the world. And sometimes educators get too much negativity, and then you think about it, and how proud are you of just the entire team out there and the kids that you guys send out into the world?
I'm extremely proud of them, and I'm also happy for them that they're about to get a little respite. Sometimes you hear in public, like, oh, yeah, be a teacher would be great. You got the summers off. Number one, a lot of our people do multiple things in addition to teaching. But number two, imagine what it's like at the end of the summer when you're ready to send your kids back to school. We do that times 100 for 9 months out of the year. And they are spending, if you think about the evening hours they're at home and when they sleep, they're spending equivalent time here at school with our staff. And that's why the job they do is so important, because they are with them so much. They are constantly being watched by the students. You're modeling the way to respond to things, the way to behave, the way to treat people. But then you're also in charge of their growth. Intellectually, it's a huge responsibility And sometimes I think that in 2026 and sometimes in the past, we do not give the respect that's due to educators. I'm not a political person, but I'll tell you the one thing that infuriates me is the lack of support in this time for public education when 90% plus of us are products of public education. It served us well. It's serving these kids well. The least we can do is support public educators in schools. And it really tears me up that we've become the brunt of criticism from people that really don't know what's happening or what the challenges are or what our teachers actually do every day.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think I think it's a sad trend, and hopefully there can be people that will change that, to realize that investment in education is investment in basic pillars of our communities and our way of life.
Well, I think say it louder for the people in the back, Keith. I think
Yeah.
you bring up great points, and I think you should go to bat. You're the superintendent. You should go back, or go to bat for your team. You're there every day. From early morning to late afternoon or evening, and you see your team working. You know how hard, and you know that their investment and what they're putting. I think we've all learned, how valuable and how important and what the job is. I hate to keep going back to COVID, but I mean, we learned what these teachers are doing, and they're in it for the right reason, and what they're doing every day matters so much. And they're
Yes.
giving,
Yes.
giving of their time and themselves. They're putting 100% into it. And so I think that I only love to hear you go to bat for them, as you should.
And I know people appreciate teachers, but I just think maybe it's not human nature, or we've gotten so busy. Showing gratitude is not practiced, and I think it has to be practiced because it doesn't necessarily come natural. Some people, it makes them feel a little awkward. How's it going to be received? But I can tell you it means the world to people that are devoting their lives every day to kids to just be told, we appreciate what you did for my kid.
I agree.
They recognize what they've done, and they don't need to walk around. We don't need a parade. No one's asking for that. But, what we do here is when something's wrong, and we understand that because we have an important job. So when something isn't working out right, we understand that when people are not, they may come in, a little on edge or they're a little upset, and getting on the same page is important. But that's like 2% of the time is there something wrong. And in any world, in any place, in any business, 98% efficiency would be considered tremendous. But what we don't hear is, hey, you made a big impact on my kid this year. That is fuel to teach another school year for a lot of people. These folks, a lot of them are going to dedicate 35 years of their lives and stand in front of thousands of kids. And I recognize the impact. You guys recognize the impact. Probably most people do. But how often is it said? And I think that's where we need to focus, is just practicing gratitude in our lives. And what I found is, selfishly, it makes me feel a lot better.
It does.
Yeah.
You're right. And I think, and it's a silly rhyme, but it's really not silly. I mean, we need to, it's like any other thing. You got to practice the attitude of gratitude. And that's a very good point, Keith. It's like when you do say thank you more and things like that, it just makes you feel better because you're feeling more positive in general, and that's always an uplifting thing for yourself. So I think that's a good point.
Well, and I agree. They're not asking, like, I think that's a good way to look at it. They're not asking for a praise, but just the that's someone that made a difference in your child's life.
Yes.
I know with mine, anybody that would add a extra sentence or extra thought to my children's life, I was always grateful for and thankful for. And I think the thing that this is one way I always figured out, or my thoughts were, okay, when you drive by the building, there's so much going on the inside. but we, the community, don't see all that. You see what I'm saying? I think it's one of those, we don't see everything that's going on and all of the things that are going on, and the magic that's going in the building. We only drive by and see it. And I think that sometimes we don't realize, and we maybe tend to forget how important and what they're doing and how much they're giving of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's, and I know there's a lot going on. People are busy, but that's why I think I say you got to make it a practice in your life. And it's not just teachers. There are so many people out there in our community specifically, because this is a great place to live, that are doing tremendous things that make all of our lives better. I mean, we, as a parent, even just at a minimum, you're trusting us to care for, protect, nurture your child for 180 days, and we're about to return them to you after those 180 days a better person, a grown person, a safe person, someone who had been cared for and nurtured during the time they were here. That's a real gift. To have the peace of mind that when you put your kid on the school bus or you drop them off at the school, you know, the people there care about my kid and they're going to do what's best for them. That's minus the magic of teaching a kid how to read. And that's magic. If you go into a first grade classroom, there is magic happening there. How you go from not being able to read to all the way in high school. These kids, you know, working on a transmission in the diesel shop or putting together complex 4K videos in the digital lab, or, you know, reading Shakespeare instead of reading Jack and Jill. So.
Yeah, I think, you know, you bring up great points. Yeah, for sure. So what's your summer look like, Keith? What have you got planned? Any fun plans?
We have a bunch of projects going on at school, so most of my days will be spent here. No vacations. I think that I might do a few long weekends to get away, you know, take a map and draw a radius and, hey, where can we go for 3 days type thing.
That's cool.
But there's a lot going on. We're doing a roof project, HVAC, putting a little solar on the roof, which I want to say that I'm a huge proponent of. You know, I want to do it if it didn't make financial sense. We're going to be able to get a rebate from the federal government, somewhere in the neighborhood of $650,000 to $700,000, and then it's going to take about 40% of our utility bill away, which, you know, you're spending $250,000 a year on electricity. That's a big deal. That's people's jobs. That's buying proper supplies. That's maintaining our building. So those things all put together add up to kind of a wise decision to put some of the solar on the roof. It won't be an eyesore because it'll be non-visible to everyone. We're also putting in a new softball press box, and we are replacing our sewer treatment plant. You know, obviously, we can't hook to the city sewer out here, so that is aged now to about 24 years, our old one, so we're replacing it. And we're replacing all of our school furniture this year, which will be a nice little refresh for the teachers and students.
You know, I think it's important, you know, the solar thing, you talk about the savings and money there, and, you know, that's a good chunk of change to be able to reinvest into the students and the community.
Well, and I know with you being on in local government, you understand too what Senate Act Bill 1 did last year to some of our funding, and this is going to help pad any negative repercussions from that. So what I saw was that on the horizon, probably riffing some staff members, going down to a much smaller staff, particularly in like the maintenance and custodial, maybe even transportation department. But this solar is going to be able to work and operate at the same efficiency and staff number that we're at now.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And you know, Senate Bill 1 is came out of the State House, so it kind of passed it down to where at local level the local governments and educators are having to be forward thinking and pivot, right? We're having to pivot, and so it's good that you're thinking about those things, because it's and just a personal opinion, it surprises me when we don't fund education. That's just my viewpoints on that, but I'm glad that you and are looking forward to ways that you can make sure that to lessen the impact from that, and I think that's important, because at the end of the day, those students inside every classroom across the entire state of Indiana, that's what's important, and sometimes you've got to do different things, but at the same time, it just goes to show you that when you care about your team and your staff, and people come together, good things opportunities can happen. Sometimes a closed door means a different door opens, and you just that's my perspective, to look at it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Even you get kind of forced to make certain decisions, but you hope that you have the ability to make decisions that are going to have as little impact as possible. Particularly on our students, but to me, the role of being responsible and filling your staff, their livelihood, what their lives are like, what their professional life and how it impacts their personal life, and the number of employees you have, from the part-time custodian to the people that work in the kitchen to the professional educators. It's a real responsibility and weight that I think good leaders feel all the time. And for me, it's always on the forefront of my mind is, how do we make education isn't a place to go get rich, but how do we make sure that we make it a place where people feel valued and appreciated, and we do make an effort to do the best we can for their salary and benefits, but also celebrate them for what they're doing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Do you kind of talk to your to everyone there at West Washington, like maybe the last day or the last teacher's day, just to kind of say, hey, make sure you take time for yourself? Do you kind of give them that pep talk? I know you want to come back to the building and work in your room and do stuff, but it's important to to get some personal time. Do you kind of give them that?
Yeah,
talk?
we have a last day get together with the entire staff, just like we have a first day get together, and then we have a couple days in between, and we still try to, anytime we have a PD day, we are fortunate at West Washington to all be on one site and all be in one building, that we can pull everyone together, even if it's just for a quick breakfast in the morning and a 20 minutes, 30 minutes together. We try to make that a priority every time we have a PD day, and particularly on the kickoff to school and the close of a school year, we spend a little more time together. I do have an interesting story that I think both of you guys would really enjoy.
We like stories.
I ended up being in charge of leading our 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C., and we did that last week.
Fun.
First time in a while that I felt my age, because I didn't sleep well, and there's a lot of running around, so I'm still just slightly exhausted from our return when we flew into Louisville. I guess it would have been Saturday morning at about 12:15 a.m. But number one, we had a blast, and number two, I could not have been more proud of our kids. They behaved exceptionally. Now they're 8th graders, so we all know, we've all had 8th grade children. They can be quite annoying, but they held their annoying in, just kind of like a good kid does. They get to be a little annoying at home, and then in public, they understand what the deal is, how they're supposed to act. Yeah. So a couple times on the bus, I had to say, hey, you guys are starting to annoy Mr. Nance. It's time to, get it together a little bit.
I love
that.
But
anytime we were at a site in public, they were so attentive. They were so engaged. They behaved top-notch. I would have been proud to call any one of them my kids based off of the way that they behaved and represented their families in our school. Saw a lot of great things, saw a lot of things with gravity, and, when you're 14 years old, you don't always understand everything, but they grasped it, and they understood, because we talked before we went to every site, what this place meant, what Arlington means, what the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is. We went to the Pentagon Memorial. It's a little more crowded than normal because some other monuments were closed for that day, and I hate to say it, but I saw kids from other schools that I wouldn't correct it, because I don't think there's enough of that in this world anymore either. Adults stepping up and doing what's necessary in an appropriate way. But our kids, I never had to correct them once. They were very reflective when they were there. They were tuned into our guide, who was just phenomenal. Like, all around, I couldn't have been prouder of our kids.
So, and that's awesome to hear. So, with all of that and all the things, was there something that stood out to you that was, seemed to be, like, exceptionally, like, awe-inspiring to the kiddos? Or was there something that they really just seemed like it was like, wow? Or did they just, I don't know. Every time I go, there's certain things. It's the Lincoln Memorial for me. It's just the magnitude.
Yeah, whenever we went to the Lincoln Memorial, like, I love the memorials. We weren't unable to. We were scheduled to go at night. It was late in the evening. We're going to go get there with a whole campus for the memorials. All of them, the ones that surround the reflecting pool, were closed because our president was there looking at the progress of the reflecting pond. So they had to shut the whole thing down. So we went to the Lincoln Memorial during the day. Very cool still. Not quite as, I don't know, just the mood, the ambiance of when it's nighttime and they have, like, the low lights and it's the upward lighting. It's just, you can see all the detail.
Yeah.
But our kids, like I had mentioned previously, our guide was a resident of D.C. her whole life. She went to school in D.C. Before we got there, she was sharing stories about what it was like to be in D.C. during 9/11, how she spent the entire day at school, and she was a high school kid, and what that felt like, and not knowing, sitting in traffic on the way home, standstill traffic on the interstate, and our kids I could tell it impacted them, the entire experience being there at that memorial and her sharing the stories, and then going around. If you've never been there, they have reflecting benches, it's like a bench with a little bit of water underneath, and it's all on the west side of the Pentagon. They come up from the ground. They don't have legs. They kind of like cantilevers, so if their touch point on the ground, if it's facing the Pentagon, those were people that were on the plane. If the bench goes the opposite way, it was the people that were in the Pentagon, and it's laid out in like a timeline of birth dates of age. So the very first one you walk up to is a 3-year-old. And the timeline, you look down, it tells you the year they were born. It goes all the way to a 74-year-old. And number one, it's big. You see the number of benches that there are. And I could tell the kids it really impacted them to maybe have a greater understanding of what it was like for individuals during 9/11. And sometimes I think as parents we don't do the best job of sharing what it's like when we were a kid experienced something, but our guides certainly did, and they gave us as the chaperones an opportunity to share kind of the way it made us feel and what we were doing at the time. And the kids, I wouldn't say somber. I mean, I guess there was a little bit of that, but mostly it was they were reflectively engaged and looking at these benches and the placards with the names on them and the age of the people, and she told a story about that there were 2 kids on a field trip that were DC students, that were elementary students in the 5th or 6th grade, and they were going to receive an award for some projects they did. And that's why they were on the plane with their teacher. And I think that makes it a little personal, but every one of those kids were asking, like, real thoughtful questions. And I think they gained a better understanding of what that meant to us as a country and what it meant to individuals.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic trip. And I think these are memories and thoughts. I mean, not, taking away from the classroom, but going out like this and talk about an education and learning,
Yeah. When you can make
they did like going to the Capitol, seeing the size of the Capitol, having a tour inside of the Capitol. We also got to go into the House of Representatives.
Oh, awesome.
Erin Houchin made that possible for us, so I definitely want to thank her because I reached out to her. She was meant to meet us, but she said the schedules changed often, and like the week prior, the King of England was there, and so that pushed other things back into the week that she was supposed to be scheduled with us. But the Capitol building is very impressive. We went to Monticello. That was really cool. I think one of the more interesting things there that caught the kids' attention was you went farther down the grounds towards the river, and archaeologists have discovered a slave graveyard, and there in that slave graveyard, they marked the graves, but they don't necessarily have names. And it was number one, it was beautiful in the area. And number two, it again showed the kids that life is drastically different today than it was then.
Yeah. Well, I think it's always important that it's good to make history almost tangible, so to speak. You can see where history was made and things going on, and I think it kind of brings everything you've learned about that off the page into reality, for lack of a better word to use for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brad. I missed that. I don't know if there was a loud vehicle going by or if we were breaking up our connection a little bit.
No,
he said Keith Nance is the best. No.
Yeah, no. No, I said Marcy Nance is the best.
She makes me the best, that's for sure. She has to make me the best me I can be.
No, what I was saying was, trips like that, it's always great to bring history to life and make it tangible and almost like a reality, to these students, and to see and to have that moment of, history happened here and this happened, right? People that formed our country or impacted our country or things that were milestones in our country was right here. People were walking the same place. And I think that's kind of neat to me.
We had the opportunity to go into more Smithsonian museums than we had in the past. That was pretty cool. I saw some that I'd never seen. And the beauty of that is they're all free. So, if you go, I think there's 20 of them. We were able to go 6 of them. The other thing that was, I thought the kids, Arlington was very impactful, but then one of the more unique things that I think they might remember forever was it was getting late in the evening. We went to the FDR Memorial, which they learned a lot about the New Deal, the Great Depression, all that kind of stuff. So we walked across, it's not the reflecting pond. There's water there, and it's where the cherry blossom trees are all planted around. We walked from there to MLK, and from MLK, you're looking right across the water at the Washington Monument and the Jefferson Memorial. And every night this year, I don't know when it started this year, but every night they've done fireworks over the Washington Monument for the 250th anniversary of our country. And even as an adult, that kind of gave me, it's fireworks, right? But it gave me some goosebumps, being in such a place and seeing the beauty and being around so many people, understanding our country's had some ups and downs, and sometimes it's a lot of upheaval, and sometimes there's a lot of disagreement. But what we have in our country is pretty special. And so, being able to tell your kids later in life, hey, I was in Washington, D.C. on the 250th anniversary of our country, and I got to see fireworks over the Washington Monument. And I think that'll be a memory they have for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Well, I love it, and I love that they got a chance and opportunity to go, and it sounds like it was, and it's always fun when you get back and have those wonderful stories to tell and share. I love them so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Keith, it looks like you've had a beautiful year, and onward ho, getting ready to, close this chapter for the for this year, and great summer, and I'm sure the kids are busting. I'm sure they've got the countdown. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
I think they're ready. I think they are ready, just like the teachers are.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, we want to thank you for coming in. It's always fun, and if you have something going on, you want to come on, just let me know. I think we're getting down to the end for Education Wednesday. Is that right? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, you had said earlier, you kind of made my heart skip a beat when you said this might be my last episode. I thought you knew something I didn't know, or
No.
No.
Keeping you on your toes, Keith. No, I meant for the.
You were breaking up with me or something. I'm not going to be on the radio
No,
any
I'm
longer.
not breaking up
No,
with
no,
you.
no.
In the sunshine. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be back. And it actually time will fly. Summer goes by so fast.
And if there's any updates that
Yeah.
talk about, of course, during the summer, we'd love to hear about it.
Brad and I will be here, okay?
Yeah.
We have nothing else.
Pull up, and I'll just be sitting on the porch waiting on you.
All right. Or if you want to just, call us and tell us, who's winning, the Blue Jays or the Redbirds, on the outside when you're sitting in your yard
Absolutely.
drinking lemonade or something. So just check in with us. And we appreciate your being dedicated, because I know we've had, we had a crazy winter, and you kept us in the know, and we had highs, lows, and as far as like some days we could have school, some days we couldn't, the snow, And so we've had kind of but it's been a good year, and what a blessing that, that we've all, survived, I guess. But we'll see you, coming up in early right before the fall.
Yeah.
School starts
I might come on in July just to preview the year. If nothing else, we'll definitely see you in August.
That'd be
I
great.
love that.
We could do a poolside school preview.
Full-side chat.
Yeah, that would be
that.
awesome.
At Brad's pool, and no, I'm going to be in the
different than the fireside chat, because our kids learned about that in D.C. too.
See, that's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have you and Brad talk amongst yourself while I go do laps real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going under the water for a little while, so
Just get your exercise.
I love it. I love swimming. Yeah. So anyway, I hope to have a lot of swim time this year. So that's on my to-do list, my agenda. So Keith, you have a beautiful summer, well deserved, and everybody there over at West Washington, and you ought to be very proud of your group. Don't forget this weekend we got the spring carnival, and then we'll have graduation on
Friday the 22nd at 7:30.
All right. Let's come support our seniors. Right?
Absolutely.
None of our county schools conflict with the graduation.
I know, and that's such a blessing. Everybody tries their best, not to do that, because we have so many that, go to the, other graduations. So it's always nice when everybody can coordinate like that. So.
Yeah.
Yes,
it is.
So. All right. Keith Nance, keep up the great work, Superintendent over West Washington, and have a beautiful summer, Keith, okay?
All right, thank you.
See you around. All right,
See
let
ya.
you go. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How exciting is that? Isn't that crazy?
It seems like we were just talking about school starting. Really,
I know.
it does.
I think, as far as, like, the students, I would fall in love with them all. You know what I mean? It would be very sad. What? They have to leave? You know what I mean?
Wait, what? No.
What?
So I think the thing that's funny to think about me, just, and this from a parent perspective, you're just like, oh yeah, summer's starting, and then summer's starting, it's a whole different feel.
Yeah.
You're always glad that summer's starting to do things, but then you're like, my grocery bill's going to double.
Oh,
like, overnight.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, food.
That
yeah.
sounds bad, but
No,
it's just
it's
like,
true.
oh my gosh.
It's so true.
And then a week into summer break, they're all excited. Kids are always excited to be out for school, but a week or two in, they're just like, I'm bored.
No.
Well, I got a lawnmower.
Yeah,
got a
that's
lawnmower,
right.
boy.
Yeah.
Get out there,
Yeah.
you know, that type of thing.
The
But,
word bored and I
Yeah,
do not
no.
go well. But I think the thing that like with the summer and everything, I think that it would be hard because you watch from kindergarten to senior year, all of the changes going, if you want to, from the caterpillar to the butterfly and on in, and seeing how successful and where they go and what they do, and just the uniqueness of everybody. I would think that would be so rewarding to see that, but also I would be so attached.
Yeah. So I didn't think about that until just now when you said that. He's talking about his 11th year. So does that mean next year's graduating class they will entirely not know any other superintendent other
Besides
than Keith Nance?
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. Well, kindergarten, first grade. So maybe. So we're getting close to that.
Yeah.
So and that that just kind of makes you think about, wow, time flies.
Right.
You know.
I think though, for because I've had seniors, I feel like this is my take on it. Again, I always have the Becky version. I feel like that when you have a senior, it's so much. It's such a busy time, such an expensive time, and such a time where there's a lot going on. I don't want to maybe just a lot of words being exchanged. There's a lot of conversations, heavy conversations, if you will.
Yes.
So I feel like that's the way. I feel like God kind of puts it that way, that you're not crying all the time that your child is graduating. Like when you put a child in kindergarten, you're like, I think these words are usually said, oh my goodness, when they graduate, I'll be in tears. I won't be able to believe, you kind of think that.
Yeah.
But then when you get to the senior year and you've had all of this heavy conversations, expenses, and
maybe it's happy tears versus
you're kind of like, maybe this is going to be
baby bird, it's time. It's past time. And fly. Don't boomerang fly.
Yeah. Maybe it's time to fly. I think,
No,
I
that's
really
a good
do.
point.
I think your mind, I think, when you have that graduation party and, the graduation.
Well,
and
speaking of
putting
graduation
everyone
parties,
together,
but think about something, though. And I know it's like the graduation party is like, it's a great thing, but it can be stressful because you go, oh my gosh, this is like this is the last party before adulthood. Send them out in the world,
Right.
and it's almost like it's a kind of like a rite of passage for your kid going out into the world, even if they're staying at home, going to school or working or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But still at the same time, and it's just also that's like the bookend to their to their school, to their school.
Yeah.
So
And I always felt like that, that was kind of it's a lot. You know what I mean? By time, food and decorations and do all
and
that.
they'll
and
always say, well, I don't care.
Oh, I know.
I don't want. It doesn't matter. Well, what kind of food? Why are we having? Yeah. So, but it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. It's
but now,
stressful, but it's a great kind of stressful.
Maybe because girls, I don't know. They're like, mine were, make sure you have it. Make sure.
Yeah, boys are different.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's a big difference.
Just tell me what time I got to show up. Well, it's at your house. So,
Yeah.
I mean, when you get out of bed, I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
No,
Yeah.
boys are different on
and then,
that.
Not to,
And I'm not necessarily saying they're easier.
No,
it can be even more
well,
difficult because
everybody's
you
got their
go,
challenges.
everything's fine, and then you're just like, well, I can't serve Totino's pizza rolls.
No, which
for your graduation,
you
which
know,
they
would-
would be fine with.
I think most
and
people would be happy.
Yeah,
with,
but it's
I
like,
mean, I would
do
not be
something.
upset, but I
Yeah.
think,
Do we have to have cake? Well,
well, because that was what one of mine, I'm a pie person. Well, I can't write happy
Yeah.
graduation on a pie.
right.
You know what I mean? And I.
Yeah. And you can't write. Well, we weren't sure for a while, but
Yeah,
you made it.
it was
we
touch
can't
and go for a
touch
moment.
and go for few months
No,
there.
I think
but,
you do, and because, and you think about, I feel like, you, and then not to, you got testing, you got what school are we going to go to, what are we going to do afterwards, or and then and sometimes it's not real clear what 100% we want to do. And then you have prom, getting ready for prom, and then you have dresses, trying to figure out your graduation dresses, your shoes.
Yeah. Boys are easier.
Well, I'm just there's a lot to do, and and a lot of, and then senior pictures.
Yeah.
And there's so much to do, and getting
Yeah.
your cap and gown ready, making sure the cap and gown is pressed, and ready. There's just a lot, and then trying to make sure to find out who all's coming, and then what kind of food to have at the graduation party. I'm going through all this in my head.
Yeah.
All of this,
I feel like we're reliving some things here. Yeah,
You
no,
feel-
absolutely, you're absolutely
At
right.
any given time, I'll be 99 years old, and then we did.
and then she rolled her eyes when I asked if she was ready to cut the
don't
cake.
Even, yeah.
So, but what my favorite part of graduation parties is, and
Yes, let's hear it.
it's not just Grayson's, just going around to graduation party, friends. I think graduation parties are more for the parents, the families, and the friends of the graduates. And the reason I say that is, which the graduates get the gifts and stuff, right? But it's funny because when you go around to graduation parties, you cannot go to a graduation party without at least 5 people saying, not in a, I just can't believe they're graduating. Not that they didn't think. It was like, do you remember when he or she was 5, and do you remember getting in trouble all the time? Do you remember, just all this stuff, learning to write? It's almost like a therapy thing, and also that thing is just like, then you have that realization, well, I'm going to take some cake home because time flies, it's like, that means I'm old if they're, that, but it's therapy for everybody sitting around, and it's a great chance for people I love hearing people tell stories about your kid or your family member or friend who's graduating, those kids that you go, wow, that's just really cool. And just to hear memories of that kid that's graduating and the stuff they did from someone else's perspective, and seeing things, and maybe things you don't know,
Right.
Oh, so they were actually polite. Well, again, touch and go for a while.
Touch and go, I don't know. And then when teachers show up, you're like, what stories are we going to tell?
Yeah.
But I think the thing too, like afterwards, okay, so let's say the last person has came, they've gone, and then your child, one of my, this is my daughters, look at me, oh, I'm going to go with so and so, for a little while, or I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that, and then you're there and you're cleaning up, and you're throwing away, the food, the plates or whatever, you're throwing away stuff, and you're packing stuff up, and then you're so tired, you know what I mean, that you just, I feel like, but also some great memories.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at like photos maybe that you had, set out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's such a, I think it is therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think that makes it where, I think it is God's way of saying, this is part of it, and the way I look at it is, what a blessing that we have, and that we get to be a part of it and see this, that we've got to watch them grow. I think that's these are all
true. And that's a good point. My favorite memory of I don't want to embarrass them, but my favorite memory of Grayson's party was that morning. That last minute stuff that you're always panicked about, didn't have a care in the world. I looked up, I was like, oh, and he's like floating on a raft that morning, just out in the pool. No care in the world. He may have been asleep.
Follow his lead, though. Follow his lead.
It's just like,
right? No.
Whew,
right? No.
But that was one of those things that it's just like, how wonderful, this chaos is gonna evolve and descend, and it was working out that his party was early and one of his good friends was later, so it was going to be a rush day, and got to clean up, then to go to something else. But he was just relaxed.
And just take a chapter from his book, right?
Just like,
right?
Wow.
That's See, sometimes we can learn,
Yes.
and that's something I've learned that one. Stop and smell the roses there, to do. I think that's
And I was like, well, people are going to start coming. Yeah, I'll put a shirt on.
That's right. Now that's totally different than boys. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were hair,
No,
clothes.
no,
You know what I mean?
no,
Yeah,
yeah.
makeup, all that. Yeah, that was
He's
a
fine.
huge,
He's fine.
huge difference.
You
But
know.
I think it's a huge blessing, and I think anybody that gets to see their child graduate and walk over, and walk. Yeah, I feel like that's a gift from God. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, Brad, we got to get out of here. Time goes by so fast. This was Keith Nance, a busy time for him. Got a lot going on, and so we appreciate him talking with us this morning. So.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Education Wednesdays are kind of winded down for the school year, but always good.
So maybe
we've had a good year.
Over the summer, we'll hop over to Walmart and do some Walmart fun things. Let's do some walk through.
And
we'll find some great
we'll be broadcasting from the fair.
Oh my goodness!
So that's always going
That's
on,
always fun.
and we'll be the big 4th of July parade.
Oh.
So
looking forward to that.
Looking forward to that. 250.
I know.
250.
250.
250.
Yay! Marca. Love that. Okay.
Yes.
American.
Yes. Oh, and speaking of, and I know this is a total plug, but Walmart has some button-up, button-down collar shirts for men that are dress shirts nice, but they're pinstriped, light blue, but they got little American flags all over them,
So
and
cute.
so they're really awesome. So a good way to celebrate America.
Love
Just
it.
saying.
Love it.
Yep.
All right. Let's thank our sponsors this morning.
All right, we've got Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rose's, Fox for Lee Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Marshall Monument, Springer and Springer Insurance, Schneck Hospital, Temple and Temple. Thank you, sponsors.
All right. Brad, let's have the best Wednesday ever.
Best day ever.
Thank you.
Give Du Bois County Tire a call. Big or small, they service all. They have the name brand tires you know to keep you cruising on down the road. They got tires for driving mean. They even got them for your farm machine. You can call them day or night. Du Bois County Tire does it right. Big or small, we service all. Du Bois County Tire.
Now through March 31st, get up to $180 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Available at Washington County Tire Shop in Salem. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See BridgestoneRewards.com for details.
Big or small, we service all. Du Bois County Tire.
Your Louisville Bats are offering up an unbeatable entertainment daily double this week. Friday night, $1 Miller Lite and Coors Light up to first pitch, then $3 up to the 8th inning. Enjoy $6 frozen margaritas, too. Saturday is Star Wars night, featuring Ahsoka Tano-themed jerseys along with appearances from your favorite Star Wars characters. And post-game, stay and enjoy the Star Wars-themed drone show. For tickets to enjoy your hometown Louisville Bats all this week at Louisville Slugger Field, it's batsbaseball.com.
The Everyday Earbuds Classic. That's by Raycon.